YNW Melly, aka Young Nigga Melly, gained recognition for his popular songs Murder on My Mind, Mixed Personalities featuring Kanye West, Suicidal featuring the late rapper Juice WRLD, and 223s featuring Glock 9. These tracks propelled him into the spotlight, but his fame was overshadowed by his involvement in a high-profile criminal case. In February of 2019, YNW Melly released his debut album titled Melly vs. Melvin, which reached number 8 on the Billboard Top 200 charts. However, his musical accomplishments took a back seat when he faced serious legal troubles in February of 2019, when he was accused and arrested and charged with 2 counts of premeditated murder, alleging he killed his 2 childhood friends and 2 fellow rappers from the YNW collective. The charges carried the potential sentence of life imprisonment without parole or even the death penalty if convicted. Jamel Maurice Demons, known by his stage name YNW Melly, was born on May 1, 1999 in Guilford, Florida. However, growing up in a challenging environment, he was raised by a single mother, Jamie King. The identity of his father remains unknown. Although the rapper Dante the Gift claims to be his father, it has never been proven. Jamie became pregnant with Melly at the age of 14, giving birth while still in the 9th grade. A couple years later, she gave birth to 2 of Melly's youngest siblings, one who was also a rapper, and he goes by the name YNW Beastline. Being a young mother with 3 young kids and a high school education, the family faced financial difficulties residing in the rough areas of Guilford. Melly eventually fell into the wrong crowd and joined the Bloods gang, and began showcasing his musical talent by posting songs on SoundCloud when he was 15. However, his life took a troubled turn when at only 16 years old, in late 2015, he was arrested for shooting at a group of students near Vero Beach High School. Melly, who was a student at a nearby high school freshman learning center at the time, was charged with 3 counts of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon and 1 count of discharging a firearm in public. Police said they recovered a semi-automatic weapon the evening after Melly claimed he was in fear for his life. He eventually told the officers where the weapon could be found, and he was sentenced to several months in prison. It was just one of his many run-ins with the law, but it wasn't his last. After his many stints in jail, Melly was released, but violated his parole, resulting in several more months in incarceration before being released in March of 2018. However, his struggles persisted when he was arrested again in June 30th of 2018 in Fort Myers for possession of marijuana, possession of a weapon or ammunition by a convicted felon, and drug paraphernalia. Throughout 2018, Melly gained attention with his singles like Virtual Balenciagas, Melly the Menace, and Sling That Iron. He continues to release popular songs such as For Real, Butter Pecan, and Medium Fries, with respective music videos accumulating millions of views on YouTube. In August of 2018, Demons released his debut mixtape I Am You, which later entered the Billboard 200 at number 192 in January of 2019. His growing success was evident with over 200 million streams on Spotify and more than 10 million monthly listeners by March of 2019. The most streamed song of all time was Murder on My Mind, originally released as a single before being included on the mixtape I Am You. On January 18, 2019, while still incarcerated, Melly released his second commercial mixtape, We All Shine. The project featured collaborations with Kanye West and Fredo Bang. Its release was accompanied by a music video for the songs, Mixed Personalities featuring Kanye West, directed by the famous Cole Bennett. The album featured the hit singles 223s, which reached number 34 on the Billboard Hot 100. On March 13, 2020, Melly released a remix to his track Suicidal, featuring the late rapper and singer Juice WRLD, who passed away from an overdose a couple months earlier. The remix became his second top 20 entry on the Hot 100, peaking at number 20. August of 2021, Melly released another album, Just a Matter of Slime, which features some heavy hitters in the game such as Young Thug, Lil Uzi Vert, Lil Baby, Lil Durk, Future, Kodak Black, T Grizzly, and many more. It debuted at number 11 on the Billboard 200 on August 28, 2021, spending 3 weeks on the charts. Despite his musical achievements, YNW Melly's career and personal life has been overshadowed by his legal troubles. In February of 2019, he was arrested and charged with 2 counts of premeditated murder, accused of killing 2 of his childhood friends and fellow rappers of the YNW collective. Anthony Williams, aka YNW Sack Chaser, and Christopher Thomas Jr., aka YNW Juvie. In October of 2018, Williams and Thomas were members of the YNW collective, known by their stage names. According to prosecutors, Melly, Williams, and Thomas were in a Jeep driven by Copeland Henry, aka YNW Bolton, after a recording session in Fort Lauderdale, when Melly shot and killed Williams and Thomas. Henry is also charged as an accomplice but will be tried separately at a later date. After the shooting, Melly and Henry allegedly drove the bodies to a rural area near the Everglades and staged a drive-by shooting to make it appear as though Williams and Thomas were the victims. Henry then drove their lifeless body around to stage an alibi, dropped off Melly somewhere, then proceeded to take them to the hospital, but they were unfortunately DOA. In 2019, isn't the only shooting these two are in suspicion of. Melly and Bolton are still the prime suspects of the death of an off-duty police officer, Gary Shameless. The shooting was ignited on February 17, 2017, when someone reportedly standing in a group threw a bottle at a passing car. The car's driver fired gunshots toward the group. Detectives noted that when the other shooters returned fire, Gary was killed. An unidentified source in the report claimed Melly and his cohort YNW Bolton were at the scene of the deputy shooting. After the shooting in Miramar, our detectives will be following up for possible information in connection to the Gary Chambliss homicide. Head of Sheriff's Office Criminal Investigation Division, Captain Tony Consolo, said in a statement. After several delays, YNW Melly's trial finally commenced on June 12th of 2023. Both sides proceeded with their opening arguments. Many family and friends came in support of one being a well-known rapper, Torrance Hatch, aka Lil Boosie, who was later arrested for a pending federal case he had himself, but was released, and now he's waiting for his own trial. A week into the trial, the prosecution presented evidence from a detective sergeant in support of his argument that the victims could not have been killed by a drive-by shooting, but were in fact shot dead within the car. The medical examiner said that both Anthony and Christopher were shot multiple times after being killed by a gunshot wound to the back of the head. Melly's attorney argued that the gun used in the shooting was never recovered, and that the rapper had no apparent motive to kill them. The prosecution can't place the gun in Melly's hand, and that's the problem, proving he was the gunman behind the murders. The last day of the first week of trial, Felicia Holmes, the mother of Melly's ex-girlfriend who he dated in 2018, takes the stand. During her testimony, Felicia made it abundantly clear that she wasn't feeling entirely comfortable speaking about the incident, but doesn't want to lie and go to jail because of the result of that. And I quote, "I'm saying what you want me to say. I do remember that they bullied me and threatened my daughter," unquote. She noted of the law enforcement that dealt with them after the murders, which really threw the prosecution off their game, and gave the defense a chance to try and pull a fast one and make a motion to have the trial declared as a mistrial because of admissible evidence and intimidating a witness. The judge criticized the prosecution, but after some consideration, he dismissed the defense motion for a mistrial and continued on. On day 10, June 27th of 2023, according to sources, prosecution accused YNW Melly of being in connection with the Bloods gang, which they claim was the motive for the murder of the two friends. To back up their claim, the prosecution recovered 123 text messages sent between GBK gang members that mention rappers including Young Thug, Boosie, French Montana, Jules Santana, Quando Rondo, and many more. Detective Danny Polo, who took the stand in court, was instructed to read several of the text messages. According to reporter Brian Paul, who was there and had been documenting the case from the beginning, Polo said Jules Santana is allegedly a Blood Gangs member. He also said that he believed YNW Melly was being recruited by two different G-Shine Blood gang members based on the text messages and conversations. That, among other evidence, is all the defense has, and on day 15, the prosecution rests, and the jury deliberates. But to everyone's surprise, on Saturday, July 22nd of 2023, the 12-member panel cannot reach an unanimous verdict. After 3 days of deadlocked deliberations, which declared a mistrial, Broward County prosecution, who had been seeking the death penalty, will likely choose to retry the case with a new jury. An unanimous verdict is required to convict and acquit a defendant. 8 jurors voted not guilty and 3 voted guilty. Judge John Murphy twice asked the jurors to keep deliberating after they said they were deadlocked, but they relented after they came back the 3rd time. The defense and the state will reconvene on Friday, July 28th to discuss the next steps for the trial, but if the state and the defense elect for a retrial, a new juror will have to be selected, and Melly will have to be retried once again all the way from the beginning. Even though the jury failed to deliver the verdict, he still has not been convicted or acquitted for any crime. The retrial does not qualify as double jeopardy. The future remains uncertain for Melly, as he may choose to appeal his conviction or face the prospect of spending the rest of his life behind bars. The outcome of the trial has been significant impact on the hip-hop community, with different opinions on whether justice will be served or if he is innocent. A new trial will be set and the world will be watching to see what lies ahead for YNW Melly. Thank you so much for watching. I will stay tuned with updates on the case, and I'll see you Wednesday for a new true crime case. Stay safe. Bye.